we just need to take a look at how are you feeling? And are you feeling your feelings? Brene Brown has this amazing video. I'd love for you to look it up. It's on YouTube. I think it's called The Power of Vulnerability. It's an amazing video because she actually talks just about that, how we're not feeling our feelings anymore. In North American society, we numb our feelings. We numb it with food, TV, and drugs and alcohol. We're the most overweight and obese society ever in North America. We're the ones that watch the most TV ever, and we're also the ones that are the most addicted. So if that doesn't sum it all up, that we're numbing our feelings and not feeling them, instead we're burying them, we're discarding them, we're being discreet about them, we're avoiding them, the list goes on and on. We're just not looking at them, we're not aware of them. And that's a problem, because feelings are supposed to be expressed. That is our human nature. That's how we're wired. And when we're trying to keep stuff bottled up and keep ourselves numb, we're looking for power in other places. We really are. We're looking for it in food. And we know that food has lots of power in it, especially the healthy food. It's high energy, high vibrating. It can bring us so much power into our life, and we can do so much more out there with that power. But when we overconsume it, then it gets stored on us. It gets stored as body fat. And then we have all of these other symptoms that come along. And then eventually we have the signs because other people notice that we've gained all of this weight and we feel ashamed and guilty. And that cycle is probably the cycle that you've been in. I know it's the one I've been in as well. So before we get started, let's take a look at exactly where emotions come from. Let's mind map it. And let's sort of start with the end in mind, okay? And this is where our values and beliefs end up, and it's right here with our attitudes and actions. And some of us, that's gonna be us going for the fridge to overeat more food, to numb our feelings. That's gonna be, in my case, it's gonna be the food, and it's also gonna be drugs and alcohol and substances that numb. That's their purpose. They do a fantastic job at it, but they bring a host of other problems along with it. Now, where does that behavior come from? It's coming from here. It's coming from how we're feeling and what we're thinking. They're interrelated. Whatever we're thinking, we attach an emotion to it. So, if we're thinking about, hey, this person has more than I do, and I really want what they have, and there's some jealousy or there's some envy, that's the feeling that we're gonna have from that thought. That thought of a lack of something, that we need something, that intense craving or that desire. That's the feelings that we're gonna have with that kind of thought. So you can see how they're interrelated. And then going right back to the core of it, and this is where it all starts. This is the beginning of where we eventually will go, okay? How we will act or not act and behave and overeat or undereat and oversleep or undersleep. It's all gonna come from here. And this is our values and our beliefs. And what we're gonna do today is we're gonna be speaking specifically about beliefs, your beliefs. This is a type of program where it's action orientated, and I want you to be active in it because, again, it's your life, it's your beliefs, and I want you to understand that the way you're behaving has a lot to do with your beliefs. So having an understanding and also sorting out what beliefs are serving you and what beliefs are not serving you, all right? And making some conscious choices, because we do have the choice to change our beliefs. And in fact, have you ever changed your beliefs at any point in time throughout your life? Looking as far back as you can remember, and certain beliefs that you had, maybe your parents instilled certain beliefs in you, and those beliefs have changed. Maybe they've changed completely. Like I'm talking 180 from how you were as a child being brought up by your parents and maybe how you're bringing up your children now. So it's possible. It certainly is. And I'm going to show you some tools of becoming aware of your beliefs and then just sorting out which ones are serving you and which ones are not. And then going about making conscious choices to the beliefs that do serve you and bringing those into your life and just watching how you propel yourself, past your problems, past the weight problem, health problem, and really that's what we're focused on, but it's all your problems in your life. It really is. It is not just subjective to that problem. It's really all of our problems, because all of our problems are going to be mind mapped in such a way. Okay, they're all going to start with our values and beliefs, and obviously manifest into thoughts and feelings, and then manifest it into how you behave and how you are out there in the world, and how you perceive the world and how the world perceives you, and that's really going to determine the success you have in life. Right? It's going to determine if you get that promotion. It's going to determine if you are able to keep that relationship or get into a new relationship. And it's certainly going to have a huge impact on your weight and on your health. So let's talk about what beliefs you have had about weight loss in the past. Has it been a belief of it's a very difficult, challenging, almost impossible process, and it's a process that you've failed at many, many times before, and it's something that you should be doing and something that you have to do, but inside, deep down inside, you really feel that it's next to impossible. And that's how you go into all of the weight loss programs, perhaps, that you've tried in the past, with the belief that you're getting into something that is non-sustainable, that is quite impossible, and you're doing it because you should and you have to. Maybe it's pressure that you put on yourself for fear of ridicule, because you don't want to appear like you're not taking care of yourself out there, or maybe it's pressure from family. Family's telling you, hey, listen, you really need to take care of yourself. You're gaining a lot of weight and it's just not healthy. Wherever that pressure, external or that internal pressure that you're putting on yourself, it doesn't really matter. That's enough to sort of get you started. That's enough fear to energize you, because there is energy in fear too, to get you going. But there's still that belief there. It's sort of like that shadow that's following you around, or that dark cloud, and it really overshadows your true potential, because you've already given up before you actually started because of that belief that you can't do it, the belief that this is just another attempt that's going to end in failure, just like it has every other time. So if you've had that belief, then let's just map it out here in your mind. This is probably what happened. Those are the thoughts that you had, and you can imagine what kind of energy and what kind of empowerment those kinds of negative or bad or self-defeating thoughts, however you want to categorize them, the kind of feelings that you're going to have when you have those kinds of thoughts. They're going to be feelings of hopelessness and feelings of powerlessness, that again, you're getting into something that, let's take a shot at it, but I already know what the outcome's going to be. And what about how you're going to show up in that weight loss program, for example? Are you going to show up fully, as your full self and give it everything you got? Or are you going to be really reserved because you're more on the pessimistic belief side of things, and you're doing this because, again, you should and you have to? And that is definitely going to show up in how long you can continue with that program, that exercise program, or that diet, for example. And it's certainly going to affect you while you're doing it, okay? While you're in it, while you're in the gym, or while you're in the kitchen preparing your food. It's going to be a drag. It's going to be a drainer. It's going to be a downer, and it's not going to lift you. And we're human, we're wired to be attracted to pleasure and not to pain. So you can imagine how long you would endure something that is sort of painful for you. It definitely isn't fun, and it's definitely not uplifting whatsoever. It's a downer, it's a drag. So how long is that going to happen before you pack it in another time and say, listen, it's not working? And maybe you'll blame something else or someone else. Maybe it's the diet, or maybe it's the circumstances. Maybe it's, something that's going on with work, and, and it's basically just your response, or maybe it's a reaction to stress of change, the change that's going on out there within your family relationships, or maybe it's at work, for example, or maybe it's a health change, a change in health where you've caught some sort of bug and hey, maybe you're not feeling too good, or maybe it's something even more serious. Those kinds of changes, small to big, they all will have us react or respond to them. And depending on where our beliefs are, it's really going to determine how we react or respond to that change in our outer environment, whatever it may be. You can really see now with this mind map of how our beliefs are so important, how they will determine what the outcome is and what our success level be with taking the weight off, and more importantly, keeping the weight off, and having that lifestyle of balance that we're all yearning for. It has everything to do with that.